You're listening to FabulosiTEA, in which we discuss what you bring to the tea party, essentials for the modern heroine.
I'm Caroline from Sparkles and Crumbs.
And I'm Xandra from Fashionably Light.
Hello and welcome to episode 18, Eating Your Greens Made Glamorous. As only FabulosiTEA can make it.
Yes, as only FabulosiTEA can make it. We all know that greens are good for us, and it's just a matter of sneaking them into our diet. So we're going to break down how both of us do that, and would like to open up the forum of discussion for anyone else who has some ideas as well. But first, as always, we'll start with our FabulosiTEAs this week. So, Caroline, what is yours?
Oh gosh, so I was in London today, and I realised Chocky Wocky Doodah has opened up a chocolate bar in Carnaby Street.
Can we just repeat the name of that one more time?
Chocky Wocky Doodah! It's incredible. I've always loved their cakes. They do like insanely fabulous cakes. I'm gonna do a blog post about it next week for my next Runaway Monday. It is so incredible. They just look ridiculous. And basically they have like a huge chocolate bar. And I went upstairs and you order like a slice of cake, expecting a normal slice of cake. It arrives, it's like an entire plate full of 10 layers of chocolate, and with the outside all kind of hard chocolate and like slathered in chocolate sauce and ice cream. Like, it defeated me, Xandra. And you know, cake never defeats me. It actually defeated me. It was so good. And I had that for lunch because I'm a grown-up.
So speaking of healthy eating, so is this
contrast?
Is this a well-known thing? I've never heard of it before.
I think there was a TV show about it, which I haven't seen. It's like they're quite famous doing like ridiculously over-the-top cakes.
And it was really rich.
Oh god, it was so gorgeous. Like, I couldn't finish it. I hadn't even had any other lunch, Xandra. That's how good it was.
Oh my gosh.
I had it for lunch. I'm basically like if a child was allowed to have its own diet. That's why.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do an entire episode on chocolate-themed places.
Oh, we will.
Yes, in which we discuss chocolate.
Ooh. Definitely. So what's your FabulosiTEA?
I'm wearing my FabulosiTEA. I finally got some new shoes. Yeah. I have been searching for a nice, comfortable pair of flats for a long time. Taking your advice, actually, because I'm going to wear these to my college ball so that heels don't sink into the grass.
You will not regret it.
But what I've been doing, it's so hard to go shoe shopping, I find. So I just go to a store and try on everything that looks interesting to me. I've been ordering stuff from Anthropologie and ModCloth, and eventually I found this pair of silver slippers like Dorothy in the literary version of The Wizard of Oz from ModCloth. So I'm happy, and I haven't taken them off because they're really comfortable.
Can you send us a picture? We'll
yes.
Put it in the show notes.
Yes, I will.
Amazing. So, well, from cake to greens. So, listeners, Xandra and I are very, very different. I'm basically a carnivore. I'm basically Mindy from the Mindy Project, if you watch the Mindy Project, which is one of my favourite shows. There's an episode where she catches meningitis and someone's like, Mindy, are you okay? You look all, sweaty and ill, like that day you tried to be a vegan.
Oh, poor Mindy and Kaz.
I just love, chicken and pizza and bacon.
I like pizza too.
Chorizo and...
Well, I'm a herbivore. I'm not quite vegan. I'm sort of vegetarian with my own rules that I've figured out for myself based on what makes my body happy. And what tastes good to me. And this happened because in my first year of university, I just moved to England and I was sick. Like, I had a cold all the time. And at first this was normal because...
Oh, it's fresh as flu.
Yeah, it's fresh as flu is the term for it. It's normal. All the germs are mixed together. But after a few weeks of being ill, I was like, right, I need to do whatever I can do. And I'd been reading a lot of bloggers who said that going vegetarian or vegan had really impacted their lifestyle and made them a lot healthier. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to try to cut out meat for a while and see what that does. And it cured me.
Well, definitely eating less and eating a lot more kind of fruit and veg always helps.
Right. Well, I realized, because I was, like a lot of people are, I was really concerned about getting enough protein and getting enough nutrients from other things if I cut out meat. And what I realized by really being a stickler about what entered my body is it wasn't that I wasn't getting enough protein without the vegetables, without the meat, but my diet didn't have enough vegetables in it. So I basically just ate more vegetables, and that worked wonders for me.
I love it. It's so good you have such good results, but I just don't like vegetables. This is my oh god, I'm having like a choking fit apparently just thinking about them. But so I think that's what's going to be interesting. So if we can talk about kind of the recipes you use and how you make them taste yum and how you'd recommend it, because so I find when I was younger we had my mum didn't really cook with sauces. I think so. Essentially, just a very plain steamed vegetables, and they're just.
Oh.
I just don't like them so. But my boyfriend actually is a really, really great cook, and so he'll make peas, but he'll make them cooked with bacon and garlic and mint.
Yeah.
Like I'm a child and he has to make them palatable for me. He's like, but he likes, you know, and he'll find creative ways to. He's always thinking of creative ways to serve veg. And like that definitely appeals to me more. So basically, this is how I stay healthy. I just eat Michael's cooking.
Yeah, the amazing thing about vegetables is that you can cook them so many different ways, and you can make them taste really bad and almost do them a disservice. And steamed vegetables are the healthiest for you, really, but also
so tasteless.
yeah, a little less flavorful. So I would recommend putting on some seasoning if you're going to steam them. But yeah, sauces are delicious.
So what would you suggest to someone like me about, you know, kind of what would be your top recipe for making vegetables, surprising me by how good vegetables taste?
Let's see. Well, first of all, you want really fresh vegetables.
Okay.
Like, preferably move to a warm climate.
Oh, Xandra, you don't have to tell me twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I like pretty normal dishes, actually. Like, my favorite is just a spaghetti with marinara sauce, and just chop up the vegetables and put them into the marinara. Sort of like a bolognese without the meat. And actually, I had always wanted to be vegetarian for a long time as a child, but I would think of certain meat dishes that I couldn't live without. And one of them, what I realized later was that it was sort of the idea of the meat more than the meat itself, because I actually don't really like the taste of meat, but I really liked hot dogs and hamburgers because of the connotations of like an American barbecue, and we'd have hot dogs on 4th of July. But I found a really good brand of tofurkey hot dogs that taste even better than hot dogs, in my opinion. But another one of those things was my mom's spaghetti sauce, and it was just a red sauce, like crushed tomato based, with chopped up vegetables, like onions, carrots, peppers, and some ground beef. So I started eating it without the ground beef, and now my whole family eats it that way, and I don't even miss it at all. I was watching a cooking show, and this Italian lady was suggesting the secret to red sauce in spaghetti is to put a lot of like ground up carrots in it, because the carrots will balance out the acidity in the red sauce and make it taste sweeter.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always the Italians and their clever tips.
Oh, so clever.
Well, one of my favourite things is my favourite kind of veggie related tip is I wrote a post a while back about the book Extra Virgin by Annie Hawes, which is a great book. It's an account of this English lady who essentially completely randomly buying a farm in Liguria in Italy, and it kind of charts her adventures getting to know the area and all the kind of quirky things the local people do and suggest. And essentially she once was apparently, you know, at this dinner very early on and tried to eat some tomatoes that had been picked from a wall, and everyone was horrified because everyone knows you never eat uncooked tomatoes without slathering them with olive oil and salt. Like, everyone just knows that. And I tried it and it is so delicious. Like I can totally see why you wouldn't ever eaten of anything else. But interestingly enough, so on Chris Kress's site, and quite so many studies have shown that if you eat fresh vegetables with a little bit of fat, like so oil, some kind, or even cheese, that actually helps you absorb the nutrients of vegetables.
Interesting.
Such as and so interesting enough, there's an article saying that if you don't eat carrots with some kind of fat or oil, like hummus or something, then you don't absorb the beta carotene as easily.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that interesting? So the Italians have just had it right, and it was just by instinct and taste that these vegetables tasted better with a little bit of oil.
Well, that's the Mediterranean diet, isn't it? Where they eat lots of vegetables with lots of hummus and oils. It's
so there's fat,
really
but
healthy.
in conjunction with
right. And these, there are lots of different kinds of fats as well. My favorite breakfast or lunch even is avocado on toast.
Ooh.
So I mash up avocado, I throw in some salt and pepper and some red chili flakes. And sometimes if I have leftover onion or some other sort of chopped vegetable, I'll put that in as well. And then you just drizzle some olive oil on the top of it. Put it on the toast first and then drizzle the olive oil on top of it. It's so delicious. Yeah, exactly. It is.
Oh, I love bruschetta with chopped tomatoes on top and green, really bright green, fresh pesto. Oh.
Yeah.
But another thing I like to do is, so basically I realised I'd always rather choose to have just a whole roast chicken. I realised I do have to kind of eat some greens in order to, live.
Are you a super taster?
What does that mean?
There are super tasters and there are non-tasters. And super tasters prefer plain foods because they sort of have oversensitive taste buds.
Oh, I think it's I love peri-peri chicken. That's
oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, super tasters.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept because I think I must be a non-taster because I love spicy foods and lots of different flavors.
Yeah, me too.
When I was eating chicken, I wouldn't like to eat it just plain. I would want to have if I had vegetables on the side, I would sort of have switch between the two, sort of like an English roast.
Oh, I love Sunday roast.
All the different sides.
But one of my favourite things to do is cook. So I cook spinach, but just fried in a pan with butter, garlic, and chili.
That sounds really good.
Apparently, my life is just a mission to make greens as unhealthy as possible, and therefore delicious. But it's the same principle, And I cooked it for my friend who also really, really doesn't like greens, and she's like, "Oh, it's really nice." And actually, the chili and garlic kind of work with the spinach. It doesn't kind of hide the flavour. It just brings out flavours that are in it that you don't notice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try that one.
That's my tip. And also making kale crisps.
Oh, do you do that?
Yeah, I can't stand raw kale, but you just pop them in the oven on a tray and cover them in olive oil and salt. This is my feeb, apparently. And they're really nice. Oh, and sweet potato fries.
Oh, sweet potato fries are delicious.
Yum.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we are quite healthy. Well, I'm healthier than I thought.
So I did a little experiment this week in preparation for this episode where I tried to come up with some different ways of incorporating leafy greens into my diet. And one of the ways...
That's dedication.
Yeah. I take my FabulosiTEA prep very seriously. So I tried to make kale chips for the first time. Well, I succeeded as well. I had never made kale chips. I had tried some that were pre-made from Whole Foods, and I didn't really like them, but I really liked the kind that I made, and I think the secret of it is really good spices. So I was at a...
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I put on, maybe a little too much, actually. I put on some salt and pepper and this thing called Borsari salt, which is actually in the, meat seasonings section of Whole Foods. Even though there's no meat in it, it's just used for marinades and things, where it's sort of a mix of really flavorful seasonings. And I also put on some smoked paprika, which is another Whole Foods tip I picked up.
Always delicious.
Yeah, use sparingly because it's really strong, but it's so much better than regular paprika. And I figured it's probably better to slather them in seasonings than slather them in too much oil. So that brought out a lot of flavor. A little too much flavor, but I'll go easier next time.
Oh, so we need to open it up and ask our readers if they have any tips. So Sarah, our friend who writes Laughing Medusa, had some really interesting ideas about getting, chlorella? Mm-hmm. to find the link into her diet. We'll pop a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, that's
so
fantastic.
How do you feel about like juicing, like green juices? This whole kind of trend for green juices.
Oh, I love it. It took some getting used to, I'll be honest. I don't have a juicer. I plan to get one when I move, but we do have a really nice smoothie maker at my parents' house. And the great thing about smoothies is you can sort of ease yourself into making healthy smoothies. So you can start by putting in ice cream or just a lot of fruits. Or I have this fruity protein powder that if you put a little bit in, it tastes really sweet. And apparently it gives you protein as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just like sneak in a couple of kale leaves and then disguise it with all of the fruit, really nice almond juice as well, is nice and flavorful, then you're getting some greens without having to chew it, without having to really taste it. And then you can sort of work your way up to having greener smoothies and less fruit.
I feel like I've got two reservations about it. So my first is that I read a lot of Sarah Wilson's writing about I quit sugar, ironically given my FabulosiTEA today. But so she makes a really good point that often smoothies that are mostly fruit-based and even veg-based to a certain extent, you're kind of getting all the sugar from the fruit and none of the fibre, which is why green smoothies are essentially much better for you, but they just don't taste as good. So people essentially put fruit in to kind of make them drinkable at all.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. Is I've been trying to slowly transition into having more green and less fruit, but I figure it's better for me to eat some sugars from fruits than to like eat a cookie and not get any greens.
Have a Coke or something.
Or have chocolate cake for lunch.
Well, it was delicious, Xandra. I had no regrets. But my second reservation is because often like specialist powders I find just are quite expensive or difficult to get hold of.
Yeah, well, I got a big pack of, not even that big, but a pack of fruit protein powder that was on sale, so I jumped at the chance, and I only put in like a tablespoon per smoothie, so it's lasted me months.
That's good.
I can't speak too much for the protein powders because I don't know how I feel about them and I haven't used them very much, but I did notice that when I put in
value.
Huh?
But that was good value.
Yeah, it was good value. I can speak for that. But this particular kind has fruit sweetening in it or something as well, so it made it a little more drinkable if that's what you're looking for.
How do you find getting your greens when you're traveling? Because we both travel quite a lot.
Oh, I really like choosing greens at nice restaurants because they normally know how to make them taste really good.
That's true.
So I'm more often going to get a salad at a nice restaurant than I am in my own kitchen because they do a better job with the dressing. Although I have to say, from a minimalist perspective, if you just put olive oil and balsamic vinegar on a salad, it tastes really good. Like you don't have to have a really sugary dressing or anything.
Yeah, I never thought I'd ever make salads, but again, I've had to try and kind of train myself to find ways to, like that I make myself, it's just spinach, loads of feta cheese and tomatoes and olive oil and a bit of salt and lemon juice.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, yeah, lemon juice and salt. Yeah, yeah. Good choices.
See, I'm just basically trying to be Mediterranean. It's my life. Always trying to be an Italian, but in England.
The other thing that's sort of overlooked at restaurants is the side dishes menu. And sometimes there are really good vegetable side dishes. And that's a tip for dining out as a herbivore as well. If you don't want to be really fussy and ask if they have other options for vegetarians, you can just order sort of like a tapas assortment of side dishes, and it's usually really delicious. Like we did this at Caravan. They have similar things.
They do. Oh.
At King's Cross, really lovely place.
I was there yesterday.
You were? Of course you were.
With Andrea from Anchors and Freedom, but we just got cocktails.
That's okay too. It's multi-purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think the lessons we've learned from this episode are add lots of oil and salt and pepper and seasonings. Don't add too much oil. I don't want to endorse giving our readers too much.
But that's the way if you're like a Caroline. kind of carnivore, it's a way to bring them into your diet in a way that I think tastes quite good.
I think also it's a mental thing to a certain degree. So just embrace them as wonderful things. And if you start saying like, "Oh, I love spinach,"
I'm just not there yet. I wish I was. I'd be so much healthier.
I mean, it's sort of probably like why you read I Quit Sugar. It's nice to think about the reasons behind these things, as well as just, oh, I know this is good for me, I know this is bad for me, sort of understanding. I find that I'm less motivated by, oh, this will be good for me in general, as I know that it will make me feel better.
My hair will be shiny.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for your hair, good for your skin. One thing I've noticed about my stomach is when I start paying attention to it and noticing like when I feel badly after a big meal or after eating foods that don't sit well with me, in comparison to eating a nice healthy meal of vegetables and greens, and how alive that makes me feel.
Mm-hmm. You do feel better when you get more greens.
Yeah.
I've been eating quite badly, clearly, for the last couple of days, and you do feel like, oh, I could do with a salad for lunch tomorrow instead of a big lunch.
Yeah, well, I experienced a similar thing right before I kicked off on this FabulosiTEA research project where I kept eating carbs, and I was like, I really need a kale salad, and I don't crave that ever, but that's how bad it was.
No, but like, our bodies aren't stupid. Like,
right, exactly. Listen to them. Listen to what your brain is telling you.
I read a brilliant article, and I can't remember who it's by. It was by an Australian doctor. They were writing about all these like ridiculous fad diets, like the maple syrup diet and this 5-2 fasting diet. And it was so brilliant. She was so no nonsense. She's like, look, we know what's good for us to eat. You do a health pyramid in school. You do like a health wheel. You learn from a very young age that you should eat lots of fruit and veg, bit of meat, bit of dairy, like maybe occasionally some sugar, carbs. Like, you know what to eat. But people want like a quick, easy solution rather than just eating mostly nice, good for you things.
Which, sounds like a quick, easy solution to me. But I understand if people want more structure.
Like a magic trick. Yeah. People don't want to have to actually integrate vegetables into their diet or cook, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can do a whole episode on specific diets or something later, but
just how rubbish they all are. Can you imagine being on a diet? That'd be awful.
Well, our friend Emma from the Bohemian said that she really likes doing, I think it's Weight Watchers or one of those major programs.
But that's not like a fad diet.
Oh no, but having some sort of structure to what you eat is really helpful for some people, and having like a point system.
Not one of these stupid diets like restricts.
Right. Well, don't do anything that makes you sad.
And also that's unsustainable.
Yeah. Just read French Women Don't Get Fat. That's all you need to do.
Put oil in your spinach. FabulosiTEA way.
So how do we bring this to the tea party?
Oh, well, we're bringing it to the floor. We want to hear your recipes.
Yeah. Yeah, so what are your magic tricks for eating healthier?
Need some. So get in touch and share your favourite recipes with us.
Yes, so we'd love to hear your favorite recipes and the ways that you stay healthy in a glamorous way. So as always, you can visit us at FabulosiTEA.com, where we'll have show notes and pictures and links to all the things that we've talked about. You can also subscribe to our newsletter there, which has been really fun to write every week, where we do a tea pairing. And we'll be adding the Diana Vreeland quote of the weekend this week.
Yay!
And you can subscribe to that at FabulosiTEA.com/subscribe. We would love to hear from you on Twitter as well. That's the best way to get in touch with us, at FabulosiTEA. And I'd also like to ask a favor to all of you listeners. If you go to FabulosiTEA.com/iTunes and leave us a rating and review, we would really appreciate it. We're looking a bit lonely on the iTunes front, and we'd love to invite more people to the tea party. And if they see lovely thank you letters and star ratings from you guys, then they'll be less intimidated by our smiling faces. on our little picture. So that would be really great if you could leave us some feedback there. I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, hopefully nice feedback.
Nice feedback.
If you hate it,
was
maybe just
awful.
Yeah, maybe don't bother if you hate it. But I don't know why you'd be on episode 18 if you do, so.
Yes, thank you for listening to us.
Oh, brilliant. And then I guess the last thing to do is just announce next week's episode.
Oh, yes.
Which
episode 19.
Episode 19, Giving Our Regards to Broadway.
Yay.
I thought we did a Broadway song for next week.
Oh, Broadway songs. Oh, that would be fabulous. Okay, I'm on it.
So we shall see you then. Friday tea time.
Friday tea time. Bye.
Ciao.